Hello, my name is Mike, and this is Guns and Horsepower. Thank you for joining me for today's video, where I rebuild the carburetor on a 2004 Yamaha YZ250F. Now this video will apply to all YZ250Fs from 2001 all the way up to 2013. Now the carburetors may vary slightly from year to year, but the rebuilding procedure is exactly the same. The reason for the rebuild is the bike's just running very inconsistently. It wants to die when you come to a stop and roll off the throttle, and then it's hard to restart once it's hot. And the idle is very inconsistent. It's just not running smoothly all the time. Now I've taken the carb out twice now and cleaned it up, and after I clean it up it runs great for about 3 trips and then it starts acting up again. And from the looks of it, it seems to be all the original components inside the carburetor, so it's definitely time for a rebuild. Well, I'm going to get started by showing you how to take the carburetor off, and then we'll go straight into the rebuild.
I think it needs to come out the other side.
Alright, it's out. Now let's get it to the bench and start taking it apart. Something I recommend you do before you even get started is take some pictures of the carburetor. The outside's pretty basic, it's putting back together except for the routing of these hoses. It's very easy to get that all mixed up. So I'm going to go ahead and take a few pictures. The rebuild kit I'm using is from All Balls Racing. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description below. You can get it directly from them. I actually ordered it through Summit Racing, so I had some other stuff to order from Summit as well, so I'll leave a link in the description below for Summit's site as well. It's a number 261282. Appears to have all the correct stuff. Ran me about $43. Here's the contents of the Carb Rebuild kit. I'm basically going to be looking for these components and swapping them out. I'm a little concerned though. I've taken this carb apart a couple times before and I don't recall there being nearly this many O-rings, so I'm gonna have to try to find where all these pieces are. But that's the whole rebuild kit, and we're gonna swap that out with the old bits from there. Well, that's not good. Kit doesn't come with a diaphragm, but the diaphragm is blown out. I'm gonna have to try to find a replacement for that before I can get this back together. Got the new one, and from what I can tell, this one, the old one, definitely the hole's smaller, so it's definitely clogged up a bit. Now all these parts, when you screw them back in, you just pretty much put them in until they seat, and then just give them a little turn so they stay snug. I was trying to figure out where this piece went, so I didn't see anything on the original carb that looked anything like it. And had to look it up online, but it did have an air fuel mixture at the bottom of the bowl, so you'd have to stick a screwdriver through there to adjust it, and you can't do it with the carb on the bike. So this kit comes with a hand adjuster one, so now I figured out where that goes. But the difference is we're gonna have to put it in after the bowl goes on, because the bowl won't slide over that. Took out the choke to clean inside there. We got all the jets changed on this bottom half. Go ahead and swap out the needle on the float tube here. It's fairly simple. It hangs on this little metal portion here right in the middle. That's it right there. So that's ready to go back in. Now we're going to deal with the needle. Now if you notice what I did this in sections. I took off the bottom, replaced everything. Now I'm going to take off the top cap and change everything in there. I didn't want to do it all at once and have parts all over the place and also forget what the heck I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get this off. I'm assuming this is where all the O-rings go. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rings that I have no idea where they go.
I'm not sure if I've taken this off before.
Well, next is the needle. Still don't know where all these O-rings go. Okay, I'm thinking the needle should just fall out of my hand. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that thing is definitely coated. Yeah, with this new fuel with the corn syrup in it, I don't know if you can see the difference in color there, but this is the old one. It's definitely got a yellow tint to it, even though it's been cleaned with carburetor cleaner many times. And you can see it there. It looks more kind of golden than it does this one. So this junk fuel really coats these parts in the carburetors. Clip here, I'm going to go ahead and set up the new needle in exactly the same position. I don't want to change too many things with the carburetor and have all kinds of problems.
2, 3, 4, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's in position. So that's done. Drop that back in. Now this part here was fairly tight to begin with, so I'll make sure go. You know what? There's nothing wrong with this gasket. I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone. That was a very graceful drop in. There we go. So I've changed everything that I feel is necessary to change, except for, of course, the accelerator pump. I need to get a new one of those. That's on order. I'm assuming all the leftover O-rings and the spring are in this portion of the carburetor. As you can see here, this part has a seam and there are screws inside here, so this part can be taken off, and that's probably where all those O-rings are. As I said, I've taken everything off and changed everything that I feel is necessary. We got all the new jets in there, the needle, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put it together like this. I'm not going to worry about getting to those other O-rings. I don't think we have a problem with leakage. We obviously had a blown out accelerator pump, and we had a lot of the jet nozzle holes were just kind of sealed up, just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to leave it like this, go ahead and reassemble it. The last thing we need to do is put the accelerator pump on, so I'm waiting for that, but we can at least get this bowl on, and that'll be the last step once that part arrives. Okay. Now we got our idle air adjuster. That's now can be done by hand. You got this little O-ring. It's supposed to stay in this ridge, or at least that's the way it came, like that. But as I push it in, it wants to slip past this ridge. So this little guy goes in here. It has this O-ring, so we have to push it, because right now it's nowhere near the threads, so we gotta get it up in here. There we go. I finally received the accelerator pump rebuild kit. It too came from All Balls Racing. I ordered it off of eBay. It didn't say what brand it was, so I was a little surprised when it showed up with this. Actually, now that I've had to pay for this, I'm a little miffed that the original kit did not come with it. You know, at $43, I assume it would come with this. It's kind of weird that it came with part of the accelerator pump rebuild kit. It came with the two O-rings for this, but not the actual diaphragm and the spring. Every car carburetor rebuild kit I've ever purchased or ever seen has always come with this. So now this has put the rebuild up to about $65, and that's about half the price of a brand new carburetor. So if I would have had to do this again, I probably just would have gotten a brand new carburetor off eBay for 125 bucks, something like that. But I'm into it now, so go ahead and install this, and it should finish off our rebuild. We got this little guy. It goes right here. The only thing we got to make sure on is that everything lines up. Don't want to squish any of those little O-rings. Everything looks good. O-ring doesn't come out of its little groove. I don't have to press the spring anymore. Now we'll go ahead and tighten up. Well, that was it. That was the last part we had to do, was get the accelerator pump back on. Let's go ahead and put it on the motorcycle. Threads in, and the other doesn't. So Okay, get that in place. Can you roll the throttle back for me so we take that slack? Keep going, all the way. Thank you, so it doesn't fall out. You know what, let's install this first and then we'll slip it into place. We don't have enough slack. This is the return then. Okay, there we go. That's all the way in. And the top one is a 14. And remember, you got to support the carburetor when you go to torque these because it's just mounted by rubber. I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple turns. Does that feel good?
Yeah, really good.
How's the slack? That's
good.
It's not too tight?
No.
Yeah, you don't want it too tight, otherwise you're going to be working the throttle when you're doing the whoopties. Okay, now we just simply install the cover, and this hose goes into one of the supports that's on the accelerator pump that I originally forgot to include when I put it on. So this goes over, the rubber part seals that off from dust. We have 3 things left to hook up. We have the fuel line. We have the clip. The last thing is to insert this. I'm not sure what it's called. It's that little hot start helper. That drops in. I don't have much room to get my fingers in there. It does have finger grooves on it. Well, there you have it. Rebuilt the carburetor on a 2004 Yamaha YZ250F. Pretty simple process. Like I said, make sure you take pictures of it because even though I do and I've taken the carburetor off a couple times, I still forget where some of those little clips go or the mounting points for the hoses. This time it was the idle. I couldn't remember where that went. So I referred to my pictures, no problem. It took quite a lot of effort to get it started for the first time, but we got it started. It idles perfectly, but we're going to have to do some adjustments to the air-fuel ratio and get it up to temperature first before we do any of that. But so far, great success. Well, thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope you found the information useful and informative. Please browse my channel for my other content, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again for watching.